Hello and good morning, good evening. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Swahili Game Changers TV. And today we are going to look at Microsoft Access, one of the programs that are inbuilt in the Microsoft Office software. So Microsoft Access is a database management system from Microsoft that combines a rational access database engine with graphical user interface and software development tools. It's a member of the Microsoft 365 suite of applications, including the professional and higher editions, are sold separately. So Microsoft Access generally stores data in its format based on the Access Database Engine, formerly Jet Database Engine. It can also import or link directly to stored data that is stored in other applications and databases. So software developers, data architects, and power users can use Microsoft Access to develop application softwares like other Microsoft Office applications. Access is supported by Visual Basic for application, that is a VBA, and object-based programming language that can reference a variety of objects, including the legacy data access objects. So generally, Microsoft Access enables users to actually work, interpret, and analyze specific data. It's quite different from Microsoft Excel in a way that using the Microsoft Access, you can generally focus on one specific detail, and that is what we are going to look at. Remember, in Microsoft Excel, you have a large table that contains different data sets, and in Microsoft Excel, it's not very easy to actually analyze a specific entry, but it is easier to do general calculation and analysis. But with Microsoft Access, we are going to discover how we can utilize it to actually make conclusive decisions based on one trend of data. So welcome to our YouTube channel, and I hope this skill is going to help you and also introduce you to the endless opportunities in Microsoft Access. So we are at Microsoft Access, but how can you actually reach there via your computer or laptop? So this is the logo that shows you are using Microsoft Access. So the first thing, you click on this start button at once, and then at alphabet A you'll find Access. It's one of the first programs, applications that you meet on your computer. So once you reach here, you click once and you'll be able to open it. So the first thing you'll see is Home, New, and Open. If you had previously created some databases, some workbooks, you'll find them under Open. But since we are starting a new one, we are going to click on Blank Database. And on this blank database, before you do anything, you have to give it your name. So based on the project that you are going to work on, you are going to give it a name. This blank database, you're going to describe it with a name. Let's say today we are going to work with factory workers, and in this factory we are going to analyze more details and understand how this factory is actually doing and how much it has achieved and who are these people working in this factory. So this is what we are going to do today. So I'm going to give it a name. Let's say Karen Cement Factory. So in Karen Cement Factory, we are going to analyze key data within that organization. So the next thing we'll do is to click this box here so that you can browse for a location. We are trying to see where can we store this blank database, so that in future when we want to retrieve and see what we have done, we can easily find it. So once you click there, you'll get this dialog box. The first thing you do is to scroll up on this left part and click desktop. So as you can see up here, we are in this PC, specifically on the desktop. The next thing you do is to click OK. So your database is now saved on your desktop. So once you'll be done with your job, you'll find that your work is already saved. So the next thing we need to do now is to create our blank database. So I'll click once. As it is opening up, you're going to see your title up here is going to change. That is a sure bet that you've saved your work. So let's wait for a few seconds. There it is. You can see now we have Karen Cement Factory. Our workbook now is saved. So let me minimize and then we look at the desktop. You can see on this desktop area our work is saved. Saving is the most important thing when you are using these softwares. So we are not going to study much, but we are going to see an example of how you can work with Microsoft Access to accomplish a task. So the first thing I'll do is to click Create. Under Create, we have 4 important aspects of design that we are going to work with. We are going to create tables. Just like in Microsoft Excel, you have tables that have columns and rows, whereby each column has a title. But remember, in Access, before you put data in your tables, you have to specify what type of data is this. If you're working with phone numbers, ID numbers, those are numbers. But we have long integers and also the short ones. If you're working with names of people, names of items, names of places, names, anything dealing with alphabets, there is text. But we have 2 types of text. We have short text, we have long text. For instance, we have the name David. David has 5 alphabets. Because 5 alphabets are like 5 characters, therefore they are less than 255 characters. That is defined as short text. But when you have an explanation, a whole paragraph about David, then you might be able to type maybe more than 255 characters. That is going to become long text. So those are the things that you need to understand before you start working on Microsoft Access. So if you're working with salaries, payments, prices, you know you're dealing with currencies. So in your word, in your definition, you have to clarify that that entry is currency. Why is it important? It is important because when you're going to feed in these details in your tables, if you don't feed in the right details that you had specified, for instance, in places where you are supposed to type names of people, you are typing currency, Microsoft Access will decline such information and you'll not be able to progress. So that is the key sensitive description that you really need to take care of when you're working with Microsoft Access. So remember, our factory is Karen Cement, and we are going to work on tables, we are going to work on queries, we are going to work on forms, and also we are going to work on reports. How do you combine all these to actually analyze specific information? So we are going to start off with tables. If you want to create a table, you just click here and you'll be able to create a table. But before you click here, you'll find that automatically Access has already given you an option to continue with the first table. It has actually brought to you a table. So we are going to work with this. Later on, we are going to work with queries. What are queries? Queries are like questions. Okay? Questions that derive answers. Those are queries. Maybe in your table, you have a list of people who are between 18 and 24 years of age, and you really want to find out who are these people. Then using queries, we can be able to retrieve such information. We also have forms. With forms, you can be able to enter extra data. You can be able to modify data within your table. And also we have reports, just like the word a report is just the findings you're trying to give out. So we are going to work with these 4 aspects, and that is going to help us get used to how Access is very interesting. Thank you. So we are starting with tables. In these tables, you can see ID. ID is the first one, and it is written new, meaning with ID, we are going to get automatic numbering. Then we have a column here, we have another column, we have another column, we have another column. They are separated by some lines in between. So these columns are going to have details and topics, titles. But before we start typing into these columns, we need to click on home and then we click view so that we go back to design view. Right now we are at the datasheet view, but we need to be at design view. So I'll click design view. The first thing it will ask me is, do you want to save this table? Yes, I want to save it. So which name do you want to give it? I can say workers in production. That is the name of the table we are going to create. So I'll click OK. So it has taken us to a section called the design view. So in design view, we are going to specify which type of data is going to enter in specific columns. Remember, when we were in datasheet view, ID was a column. But right now in design view, ID has become a row. Meaning, once we define these types of data in each title, we are going to click on datasheet view so that we go back and start putting the data. Okay, so ID has the primary key. Here is the primary key. And this primary key, we have specified type of data to become automatic number. Meaning, as we enter details on other columns, this column of ID is going to do numbering for us automatically. So we go straight to the next column. Next column we can say name of employee. Name of employee. Because name of employee is less than 255 characters, we'll go with short text. Next thing we'll say is age of employee, or instead of age we can go with date of birth, DOB. Date of birth. Under these data types we have long text, numbers, large number, date and time, falls under date and time. Then we have salary. How much does he earn? So here we have salary, we have the currency, yeah, and so on and so on. If you want to specify maybe a photo of an individual, we have the object. If you are putting emails, we have email. If you want to attach some documents and files, we have attachment. Okay, so we have different types of data sets, but for now we are going to work with this. And then here we can say work hours per week. Let's give them in terms of numbers because we are going to count now. So once you do all this, the first thing you need to do is to click on view again, and in this view you will click on datasheet view so that you can be able to go back and start entering data in these columns. Right now they are rows, but they will change into columns. So you say, do you want to save? Yes. Here is our table. So we click there and start entering the name. We have Sarah. Sarah, when was she born? You'll click on this calendar. You can scroll slowly or you can write manually by starting with a day, then month, then here separated by a slash. So let me go for that. For Sarah, how much she earns? Let's say 45,680 US dollars. How many working hours per week? Let me put 50. Then we have John. As you can see while I'm typing, ID is doing auto numbering. So John, when was John born? Let's say 6th of which month? Of December 1990. How much earning? Let's say 7,000 US dollars. How many working hours per week? 30. I go for another one. Let's say Peter, date of birth, we go with this one just randomly. how much salary, let's say, okay, hours per week, let's say 40. We have another one, last one, let's say Mary, date of birth, yet again randomly, how many hours per week, 40. Salary, let me put a bigger figure, hours per week, let's say 20. So once you do all this, you click save. Now we have entered our data and this is our table. What if I need to add another table that speaks about workers who are in a different department? So I'll go to create and then I'll click table. So I'm going to add another table. So remember, we have table 1 and now we have another table, the first table and now this second table. So what I do next is to click view, I click design view. It will ask me to save. Here I'll say office workers. Okay, the same thing as we did, ID auto number with the primary key. Next we say name of employee, name of employee, we go with short text. Next we say date of birth, date of birth, we go with the number, date and time. Here then we go to salary, yet again is currency. Then we go with the working hours, working hours, also we go with number. Once we do that, we click view and then we click datasheet view. Do you want to save? Yes, we want to save. So we have two tables, office workers and workers in the production. So once we've done that, click save and then you can now close. Before you close, we put details also. What are the names? So we put Francis, we put Isaac, random names, we put Naomi, we put Brian, we put Peter. These are the workers that we have who are working in offices. What about salaries? Salaries, let's continue with this. So there it is. Okay. I'm just putting random figures that I hope you are learning something. What about working hours? So we have these as working hours. So we've put our data. Next we click save. Save, and then we can now close. And we can close this. Remember, we have two tables. The first table we created was workers in production. Double click, you'll be able to see it, and then you close. The second table was office workers. Double click, you'll be able to see it. So that is how you create your tables. So next thing we want to learn now is how do we create queries. Remember, query is a way of interrogating your tables. So we have two ways. We can use the query wizard, or we can also use the query design. So let's go with this hard one. There is a query design. So when you click on query design, it will ask you, where is the table that you want to query? Remember, here we don't have any table. So we have two tables here. We have office workers, we have workers in production. Let's say you wanted to get details about workers in production. So you'll click on workers production and then say add selected table. you've clicked on this and then add selected table, it is going to appear here. Let me delete, I did twice. So we have it here. So I selected this one and then I've put it here. Also, in case you want to do query for two tables, you'll add this one, but let's work with the first one first. Now, before you run this query, remember, you've put a table. You want to ask it a question. After you ask it a question, you click run, it will give you the results. So, before you run it, if I click run, it will tell me query must have at least one destination field. What is this destination field? These are the fields that we have. The columns, they are now called fields. And here is the destination that we want to make it active. It is not active. So the first thing that you need to do, and never forget it, you click on this drop down, you add every field. The first one was ID. You click here. The second one was name of employee. Click here. The third one was date of birth. Click here. Also we had salary. And then click the last one here, add working hours. You must ensure that all these are checked. If you do that, you can be able to run your query. Remember what we've done? We've just activated these fields right here. But we haven't put any criteria. Criteria is the formula that you put to get results from a table that is doing a query. So without putting any filter criteria or formula, let us run and see what we get. If I click run, we'll get all details that were in that table. We have Sarah, John, Peter, and Mary. If I open these, remember we are in the query. If I open this table, let me double click. It's here. You can see all the details are the same way as in this query. You can see we have Sarah, John, Peter, and Mary. Also in this query we are creating, we have Sarah, John, Peter, and Mary. Therefore, let me close this table. So we have the query. So this query has all details. But what details do we want? We want to see people who are above 30 years of age and they are earning above $6,000 US. People who are above 30 years of age and are earning above $6,000. So I'll click on view. I go to design view for this query. Design view. Now I'm going to put those two criteria. We said people earning above 6,000. So we are going to use the greater sign on our keyboard. We have the greater sign, so hold shift, press greater sign. Greater sign is sharing the same button as full stop. But since it is on the upper part of the keyboard, you have to hold shift. But typing the full stop, you just press directly. So we said greater than 6,000. So I've written 6,000. And how many hours have they worked? We said more than 30 hours. So I'll say greater than 30. Greater than 30. So we are going to find people who are earning greater than $6,000 US and also greater than 30. Remember, in money, in currency, I've not put any comma or full stop. I've just typed it in form of numbers. So let's run it and see what we get. When you run, you'll find that it's only Sarah who earns above 7,000 and working hours is above 50, above 30, which is 50. Is it true? Let's open the table and see if it is true. If you look at the table, earning above 7,000, we have John. But John, how much work hours? 30. 30 is not greater than 30. It is actually equal to, but we said in our formula greater than. That's why we don't see John. What about Peter? Peter earns 450, which is less than 7,000, even if the hours are greater. What about Mary? Mary earns above 7,000, but our hours are less than 30. Now we have Sarah here, earns above 7,000 USD, and her hours are 50, which actually satisfy this query here, if I double click on it, you'll be able to see it's only Sarah who qualifies. So once you have such information, then you can be able to go to create and create a report for that. Because I've found out from my query it's only one person, so I want to make a report. So click on report wizard. But before that, let's save our query. So click save. This query, we want to save the query. So I'll close the query so that I save it. Do you want to save the query? Yes. What is the name of the query? Let's say employees earning above 7,000 USD, 7,000, and working more than 30 hours. And then I say okay. So here it is, employees. If I double click, you'll be able to see employees earning above 7,000 USD and working more than 30 hours. Let me close it. So what if someone tells you, I needed a report that shows employees who earn above 7,000 USD and work more than 30 hours? What should you have done? Number one, you should have created a query. Using the query, then you select it by clicking on this right corner here. After that, you go to create, click on report, and the report, you'll be able now to create this report of these findings. So let's create a report. As you can see, it is asking you, which fields do you want on your report? You can choose from more than one table or a query. So we want all the fields to be seen on our report. That is ID, name of employee, date of birth, salary, work hours. But if you want to exclude some, you can add one by one. But if you wanted all, you click on this double arrow and you will have all. Click next. Do you want to add any grouping levels? No, we don't want to add any grouping levels, so we go next. You can sort records by up to 4 fields in either ascending or descending. No need. We go next. Do you want it in columnar, tabular, or justified, or landscape? We want it tabular in portrait. Next, and then we can now finish. So once we finish, you'll be able to see only one entry in your report. So here is a report generated, and the title is employees earning above 7,000 USD and working more than 30 hours a week. That was our report. The section has been cut off due to paper size. Okay, so this is how you create table, query, and reports. Now let me close this. First of all, I'll close here, print preview. So this was our report. This report, if I go to home and then let me see, we don't want to format it further. This was our report view. So this our report looks like. Okay, so let me close it for now. Let me also close our query. So here we have tables, queries, and reports. So what about a form? I'll first open the workers introduction table, double click. We have opened it here. Remember, we have how many people working there? 4 people. Maybe we wanted to add 2 more. So what we do, we select the entire table and then we go to create. Under create, we click on form wizard. Under form wizard, we take all the fields because we need them. We say next. So here we have a form. These are the form, how forms looks like. We have workers in production. We have a section for ID. Automatically the first person, employee name is Sarah, date of birth included, how much she earns there, working hours per week 50. So how many people do we have and how many forms do we have? Remember, in our table we had 4 employees, and also in our form we have entries for 4 people. The first one of 4, if we click next, the second one is John. We click next, the third one is Peter. We also click next, we'll see the fourth one, it is Mary. Okay, so how do we add the 5th one? You'll see a small arrow with a star here, new blank record. You click there once and you can be able to enter details. So here we enter, let's call him Andrew. What was the date of birth? Let's say 1st June 2025. Okay, how much do Andrew earns? Let's say 600 USD. 600 USD. And how many hours per week? Let's say 10. After that, you click on save. So once you save this form, remember you've added the 5th person. Now we have 5 out of 5. If you click on the main table, you'll see you still have 4 people. So the 5th one, who is Andrew, is not yet added. So how do you ensure that Andrew is added? You refresh. Once you refresh, you'll be able to see Andrew added to your list. So that is how you work with Microsoft Access to build your tables, your queries, your forms, your reports. So as I conclude this, I want to encourage you to practice. Assume you work in an organization and you have different data sets of people and departments, also items, resources, clients, needs, orders. Try to create tables, but make sure you specify a type of data. Also, when you are designing queries, let's go to this query. Let me click on design view. Remember, when you are in your query, under query design, when you are under the query design, we are under design view of the query. If you click on data sheet, this is what you see, a table where information is listed. But if you click on design view, this is where we enter the criteria. Criteria are the formulas. You need to ensure that you understand the criteria. Let me erase these criteria. Remember, these criteria gave us Sarah because she earned above 6,000 and she worked more than 30 hours. So I've removed the criteria. If I run it, it will show me details of everybody. What if we want to see people who are earning, or someone called John, people called John, assuming you had another John, let's say John Kamau, and this was John Kamondi. Now you have John Kamau. Okay, so now we have 2 Johns. What if you wanted to find out people called John in your organization? So what you do, you'll go to employee's name, because John is under the field of name, column of name, under criteria, and here in name you say John. If you had typed capital letters, you also search in capital letters, uppercase. Once you do that, you say run. Okay, let's do it once again. Design view. We want to find out people called John or people whose names start with J. Let's say J. Okay, just J. So people whose names start with J. Let's see the formula. J multiplication That is it. So we have John Omondi and John Kamau. So what criteria did I use? I typed, this is how I typed it. I said speech mark, which are double marks, next to enter key on your keyboard. Then I typed J because it starts with J. Then shift, hold shift, press the multiplication, then press the double speech mark. It will be able to show you people whose name starts with alphabet J. So if you run, you'll be able to see it is John Omondi and John Kamau. Okay? So let us try another formula and see if it will work. What if we say like J? It won't give you the answer. But what if you introduce those formulas? Not yet. So now it will work. So make sure you have those speech mark, double speech mark, the J, multiplication and double speech mark. So make sure you look at those formulas. So how will you get those formulas? If you go to Google, under Google you'll be able to see access. Sorry about the noise. Access criteria formulas. Under access criteria, you'll find examples of query criteria. So query criteria, you'll find we have less than 25 and greater than 25 and less than 50. This criteria applies to a number field such as a price or units in stock. It includes only those records where the price contains values greater than 25 and less than 50, which means if you want to get records that are between 25 to 50, you use this formula. We have several formulas. If you want to get exactly what, you just type the word. You'll get entries with that word, maybe a name of a person or a country. If you want everything except that name, you say not Mexico. It will return the others except not Mexico or not any name that you want to use. If you want to get beginning with a certain alphabet, like the one we did, so you can use like U with a multiplication sign. Okay. Also contain the specific string such as Korea. If you want result that have a word, a certain word, so you can say like into double speech mark, multiplication sign, then the word, multiplication sign and double speech mark. So make sure you go through these formulas and you can find them under examples of queries criteria. Microsoft support. So thank you so much for your time of listening to what we've been doing, and we hope that you have learned how to work with tables, queries, forms and reports in Microsoft Access. That was all for today, and we will do more videos for you. Thank you, and may God bless you.